Hey guys, welcome to the show. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at Karate Kid Part 3. Why Part 3? Easy. The first one's awesome and we've all seen it, and the second one's pish. So, with that eloquently crafted statement, let's delve back into the world of Daniel LaRusso as he attempts to once again not be a dick.
Arigato.
You're welcome.
So, before we begin, a really quick recap of the first two movies in the series for those of you that actually haven't seen them. And when I say a quick recap, I mean a quick recap.
Ready?
Okay, so in part 1, Daniel moves to a new town with his mum and gets into fights with a local karate club. I say gets into fights rather than bullied because I'm a firm believer that Daniel started the fight first by interfering with Johnny and Ali's relationship. It's supposedly been a thing for a while that I thought nobody else gave a shit about. Anyway, Daniel gets trained by Mr. Miyagi, and eventually at the end of the movie he fights Johnny in the tournament that's the All Valley Karate Championship, some sort of tournament, and he wins it at the end, and that's it. Karate Kid Part 1. Karate Kid Part 2, Daniel and Mr. Miyagi go to Okinawa for whatever reason. There's some sort of confrontation between Mr. Miyagi and an old friend. Daniel has to fight the local bad guy, which he does and wins, obviously. Falls in love, and that's Karate Kid Part 2. Yeah, we're up to speed. Karate Kid Part 1, awesome. Karate Kid Part 2,
Fish. Pardon? Fish.
and so we come to Part 3, the masterpiece that is.
It looks like money. Smells like money. Good money, huh? Smell that.
Did you actually think I was going to sit here and talk about the subtle tones of Karate Kid Part 3 or the overall satisfying outcome that's given to you via an engaging dialogue with the characters?
I'm gonna miss you.
Send me a Christmas card, okay?
Frankenhooker's awesome, you should definitely check it out. She does it well. Let's talk about the whole movie, what it's really all about, and then some more interesting points and characters. We all know the characters of Daniel and Mr. Miyagi by now, so I was really looking to shift the focus a wee bit onto the newer characters that join the movie, and you guessed it, here comes the spoiler alert warning. I can't even do it.
You're going to the mental institution.
In a nutshell, it's the same as the other two movies where Daniel gets his ass kicked and then needs to basically get better at something or another and overcome the obstacles that are laid out in front of him while learning life lessons along the way. In the first one, Daniel's nemesis was Johnny Lawrence of the Cobra Kai, a badass mother who don't take no crap off of no one, who also trained under the real villain of the movie, Sensei John Kreese. In Part 3, we've got Mr. Silver.
What?
But we'll get to him shortly.
Don't bullshit me.
Basically, Mr. Silver is a close friend of Sensei John Kreese, and he agrees as a favour to train and manipulate Daniel so that he fights in the tournament, loses his title, and thus restores the good name of the Cobra Kai dojo.
Johnny, by the time that little twerp steps into the ring to defend his title, I'm gonna have him thinking he's invincible. And then he's gonna find out what pain and fear really mean.
Okay. And this is where Mike Barnes comes in.
Welcome to LA.
He'll be the hired help because Daniel might need some persuading to sign up for the tournament.
Hey Dennis! You didn't sign it yet.
He's also going to be the one to destroy Daniel in the final, and while Mike's been tearing people apart, the only thing that Daniel's been tearing apart is the container to his macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese. Hey, you know what I like.
I always liked this actor playing the part of Mike Barnes. He just, to me, seemed to get how hammy he had to be successful as a bad guy in a Karate Kid movie.
Hey, don't even think about backing out, man. Because then I'll really be pissed. And this will all seem like a happy memory compared to what I do to you.
He just got it. This guy got it.
There's nothing you got that I can't counter. Your karate's a joke.
There's a bit where Mike is holding Daniel up after kicking him through a screen door. Daniel hits him and Mike comes out with this whopper.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
don't do that. So let's talk about Mr. Silver, or Terry Silver, who's got the whole hair gel ponytail combo going on. It's a good look, it's a strong look.
Very strong.
He is easily, without shadow of a doubt, my favourite thing about Karate Kid Part 3.
See this? You see it?
Get your hand off me. Get your hand off me.
Part of his ingenious plan of manipulation is to gain Daniel's trust and train him, with the training being there ultimately to undo all the good that Mr. Miyagi's taught Daniel and replace it with all the wrong techniques and beliefs.
You hit him square in the nose. He'll be blinded by his tears, choke on his own blood.
Okay, so one of the main reasons why I love this character, apart from his dialogue delivery,
Let him up, punk.
Who, you, his mother?
Maybe.
is the noises that he makes when he's fighting. You know how in martial arts movies when they're throwing punches or kicks they're making a sound? Or a ki? Listen to Terry Silver's ki. I love this guy in this movie.
You like that, huh?
You have a fan right here.
I fucking love that guy!
So Daniel's eventually forced into signing on for the tournament. Mr. Miyagi won't train him.
Sorry for asking.
They eventually have an argument and Daniel decides that Terry Silver is the right guy to train him. Okay, so here's my theory. Terry Silver's bad teachings are a necessary evil because, hear me out, when Mike Barnes first fights Daniel gets his ass kicked without Mike even breaking sweat. I mean, look at this. Daniel's out of fighting shape, likes macaroni and women that were teenage witches, while Mike Barnes is in fighting magazines being called karate's bad boy.
You fight as hard as you negotiate?
Harder.
So does Terry Silver teach Daniel the stuff that he actually needs to survive in a world where Mike Barnes exists?
Last time you weren't fighting this!
I know the story is that Terry Silver's supposed to be teaching them the bad things and hurting them, but at the end of the day, Daniel goes from this
We're not sweeping floors here. Harder.
to this. Did I mention Daniel's dating a witch?
A witch?
Well, actually, they just stay friends in the movie, which is a wee bit weird because it's almost set up that you think they're going to get together at some point.
It's pretty cool.
But they don't. They just stay friends and eat macaroni. Maybe she's fattening him up even more so she can eat him. You know, because she's a witch. And he'd probably deserve it too because, example, Mr. Miyagi tells Daniel about this really, really special bonsai tree that has got great sentimental value to him because he brought it over to the US from Okinawa and for safety reasons decided to keep it on the side of a cliff, you know, so nobody could get to it. So what does Daniel do? Goes and digs it up, causing it to be torn in half. Like, good move, numbnuts. I know he was going to sell it in order to get money to help Mr. Miyagi, but Daniel, sell your car. You know, the one that Mr. Miyagi gave you in the first movie.
Joseph.
Oh, wow.
Even Mr. Miyagi sells his truck and he's pure gutted about it.
It's a truck.
Sold the truck?
So towards the end, Daniel finally sees how much of a tool he's been and he tries to go around righting all his wrongs, which includes telling Terry Silver that he doesn't want to be trained anymore.
Silver!
That's when Mr. Silver reveals his master plan.
Danny. From the moment you met me, I've been making you do things you didn't want to do.
Daniel then gets his ass kicked again by Mike Barnes and almost shits his pants when John Kreese gives him a jump scare. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is pretty scary. Anyway, Mr. Miyagi comes to the rescue, kicks everybody's ass and then agrees to train Daniel for the tournament.
Now, will you train me?
Look, I'm sorry.
Oh. When we finally get to the tournament at the end of the movie, it's not as awesome as the first movie's tournament because it's not a tournament, it's just one match. They point out earlier in the movie that because Daniel's the defending champion, he doesn't need to fight in the tournament, he just needs to turn up for the final and, you know, fight whoever's got to the final. Okay, first movie has got a tournament that's awesome, showing you all these different fighters. This movie's got one match.
Face each other. Bow. I said bow. Fighting position.
And this is it, the peak of the movie. This is Daniel's chance to show off everything he's learned through, well, pretty much all 3 movies and defeat Mike Barnes and end all of this nonsense. And he gets his ass kicked. Look at this, Mike annihilates him for the whole fight except maybe for this little shitey sweep and this wee push. Look at that, Mike's nailing Daniel with illegal blows and Daniel's pushing him. But it is a Karate Kid movie after all, so Daniel should be expecting Mr. Miyagi to come in and say, "You can do it," and he does.
Fighters on your line.
We then get the ultimate amazing cheesy ending that, let's face it, we were all hoping for, where Daniel starts to use the trick that he learns in each movie to defeat the villain. In the first one, it was the crane kick, or the crane technique. In the second one, it was, well, fuck the second one. This time Daniel uses the kata thing that Mr. Miyagi taught him that confuses Mike before pulling this awesome stance. With the build-up, the tension, the music, I love this movie.
That's too bad.
So, let's wrap this bad boy up. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching guys. Take care, and remember, hey guys, welcome to the show. In this episode we're going to be taking a look at Cars.
Really?
Yes.
So, before we begin, a very quick repack, it's like 2-pack, again. So before we begin, I think a quick recap's in order of the first 2 movies, just in case you haven't seen them for whatever reason, just so you can enjoy the video, knowing the background of the story. And how fast am I talking right now? 186,000 words a second. In the first one, Daniel's nemesis was Johnny Lawrence of the Cobra Guy. Cobra Guy? Cobra Guy?
Where can we go?
We can go to my room.
It's on the 4th floor!
What is it? My voice?
Hey Ape! Starting to lose it! And so we come to Karate Kid Part 3. Karate Car Part 3. Car Kid Part 4.